So yesterday we have started a topic called Java coding conventions, right? So let's continue. So let me quickly revise what we have discussed about coding conventions. Okay, and let's continue the topic. Now, what are coding conventions? What is the advantage if we follow coding conventions? So basically, as we are working with Java, Java is providing us some predefined classes. Predefined classes are nothing but the classes which are already written by Java people, and they are giving us in our requirements. Like if we have any requirement, so we'll be able to use that particular class, and we'll be able to fulfill our requirement in our programs. So they identified certain requirements, and for which they have coded certain classes, and they have bundled them, and they have provided us libraries. Okay, so they are able to provide us as libraries. So we'll use those libraries as part of our projects, and we will be working with them in terms of requirement development. Now, so as they have provided us some predefined classes, so what they did is in writing those classes, in naming their methods, in naming their variables, they followed some standards. Okay, so as they followed some standards, what they are recommending us is if you can also follow the same style and same approach, what we did in our predefined classes for writing our predefined classes, if you can also follow the same, so it will be easy for you in maintaining your project or your programs. It will be easy for you to maintain the programs or in terms of developing them. So that's the reason they are asking us to follow the approach. So as part of that, what we did, we covered, let's say we have a class. So we have to provide name for our class, which is nothing but we can also call as what? Identifier. Giving name for a class is nothing but it's also called as identifier. So we have identifiers. We have class, we have a name for a class, we have name for method, we have name for variables. Similarly, there are other components as well. Okay, so components like interfaces, constants, packages. Okay, so we have seen few of them, and we have not seen few of them. We are encountering them for the first time. But still, we will see them in the future classes. Don't worry. But for now, what we should be remembering is that, okay, there is something for which if we are trying to give a name, if we are trying to write an identifier, then you need to follow this coding convention. If you follow this coding convention, then that is going to make our job easy. For which the first thing is what? Class. How to name a class. What is the coding convention that you need to follow in writing a class? What is the naming convention that we need to follow? Can anyone tell me? What is the naming convention that we need to follow in giving a class name? So let's say if you are writing a class and you need to provide a name to the class, right? So what is the coding convention we have covered in the stress class? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me that? Convention for class. So your class name, let me only complete it. So your class name can contain any number of words. What is it? Your class name can contain any number of words. Each word, first letter, should be in capital case. So this is the coding convention that we need to follow while giving a class name. Understood, right? So your class name can contain any number of words. Okay, it can contain any number of words. But what? Every word, first letter, should be in capital case. Okay, example, like let's say string. I have what? I have a class called as string, which is a predefined class. So for this string, when I'm writing this, how many words are there for this string? There is only one word. The name of this string class is formed with one word only. It is string. Now, when I'm writing this, always what is it I need to make sure? I need to make sure that this S is capital, because for this word, what is the first letter? Yes. This should be in capital case. Okay, similarly, let's take another example. So string buffer, there is one more class. This is also what? This is also a predefined class coming from Java libraries itself. Okay, so what is this? Now the class name is string buffer. Now this name is formed with two words. One is string, another one is buffer. If you notice, the two letters of each word, first letter. Okay, the first letter of each word is in capital case. This is the coding convention that you need to follow in giving name to a classes. Similarly, let's take the other one. Okay, so we have some other component in Java. We call it as interfaces. Okay, don't worry about what is this. We will see this. Okay, in the future classes, we will see what is the purpose of it, how to use it, when to use it. Okay, so we'll see around about interfaces in the future classes. For now, just try to understand whenever. So there is a you need to also name the interfaces. Okay, so there is also name that we need to give the interfaces as interfaces are also given names. We need to understand what is the coding convention that we need to follow in giving a name to an interface, right? So let's understand how it is. So even for interface also, we need to, it can contain any number of words. What is it? Interface name can also contain any number of words, but here also each word first letter should be in capital case. So there is no difference between coding convention between class and interface. Both can have the same approach. Both should follow the same coding convention. Okay, there is no difference. So, but in giving a name, in giving an interface name, so it is always suggested that give a name to an interface, like it should be sounding like an adjective. You know what are adjectives, right? So like it is something about, you know what are adjectives in English. So the name of the interface should be sounding like an adjective. Okay, in such a way you need to provide the name. So don't worry about it. We will see in the class, in the future classes, you'll come to understanding like how you have to write it. But as the first coding convention is that you need to remember that it can contain any number of words. Every word first letter should be in capital case. Okay, interface name can contain any number of words. Okay, this thing, but every word first letter, first character of first letter should be in capital case. Okay, in capital case. So example for interfaces are nothing but there are some predefined interfaces that are provided as part of Java libraries. What are they? We have something called as clonable. If you see this, the interface name is what? Clonable. So how it is sounding? It is sounding like an adjective, right? Clonable. So there is one more class called as runnable. Okay, so there is one more class called as serializable. Action listener. Action listener. And you can also take some custom interface like my interface. Okay. So if you notice here also what? Every word first letter is written in capital case. Now here see it is formed with two words. Every word first letter is in capital case. M should be capital here, I should be capital here. Okay. So this is the coding convention that we need to follow for interface. Now let's move to the next one. So coding convention for methods. Coding convention that we need to follow for methods. What is it? So method name can contain any number of words. First word, all letters should be in lowercase, and from second word, every first letter should be in capital case. Understood, right? Method name can contain any number of words. It can contain any number of words. Okay. But what? But all letters. Okay. Just a minute. But first word will be there, right? First word all letters should be what? Should be in lowercase only. Okay. And from second word, every first letter should be what? Should be in uppercase or capital case. Okay, so let's go with some examples. So like I have a main method, right? See, if you see main, so what is main? Just one word. If you notice, none of the letters are in capital case. All should be in small only. So here M is not, this M is not capital. Okay, that M is not capital. It is a lowercase only. It is written in lowercase. Now let's take one more word. Let's say I have a method. We have a method println, right? If you notice, here also every word is what? Every letter of this word is in lowercase because that is only one word. Now let's take one more. Let's say last index of. Last index of. If you notice this is containing three words. This particular name of the method is containing three words. What are the last, index, and of? It is having three words. If you notice the first word, here everything written in lowercase only. All letters are written in lowercase, not even the first one. Everything is written in lowercase. From second word onwards, if you notice, every first letter of second word onwards is in capital case, is in uppercase. Understood, right? So this is the naming convention, coding convention that we need to follow for methods. Now let's move to the next one. We have variables. We have the next concept, we have variables. So even variable name can contain any number of words, where first word all letters should be in lowercase, second word onwards, every first letter should be in capital case. So it is almost similar to method only. Okay, but how we will be able to differentiate between a variable and method is nothing but all methods will have what? Parenthesis. Will have parenthesis. If you see here, we have parenthesis, right? So this parenthesis will be there beside the name. If you see parenthesis beside the name, then we can treat that as a method. But variables will not have any parenthesis. So what is this? What is the coding convention that we need to follow for variables? Same as method. Okay. So variable name can contain any number of words. First word, all letters should be in lowercase. From second word onwards, every first letter should be what? Should be in uppercase. So remember this. So let's take some examples how to write a variable name. So let's say, so we have a variable called as length. If you see here, this is only made up of with one word. Here every letter is in lowercase only. So if you take end of the year, let's say end of the year, it is formed with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 words, right? If you notice the first word, every letter should be in lowercase. Every letter should be in lowercase. From second word onwards, every first letter. So this is one word. The first letter is O. This should be in capital. This is made up of with three words, three letters, and this word, the first letter should be in capital. So this one, the T is in capital. Here, one second. Give me a minute. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, let's continue. So if you see the fourth word also, the fourth word, so the first letter is in uppercase. So till here it is clear, right? Now let's move to the next one. So we have next constants. We have constants, one more component. So now we have seen class, we have seen interface, we have seen variables, and we have seen methods. So we have also called as constants in Java. So what are constants? What is the purpose of constants? We will see it. But for now, just understand the coding convention that we need to follow in giving a constant name. So constants will also have names. So when you are giving a name to a constant, how you need to give a name? What is the coding convention that we need to follow in giving a constant name? Let's see that. So when it comes to constants, constants can contain any number of words. It can also be what? It can also have any number of words. Okay. So, but what is that? Every word, all letters should be in capital case. What is it? Every word, all characters, all letters should be in uppercase or capital case. Got it? And if you have multiple words, they should be separated using underscore. Got it? What is it? Constant name contains all letters in capital. Okay, in capital. And if we have multiple words, then they should be separated. They should be separated by using underscore. We have seen that, right? What is underscore? Okay, we need to use the symbol in separating the words. Example, let me take a word. So let me say max value. So max. So max. If you see this max in this word max, every letter is in capital case. Now I have one more word. What is it? Value. So this one also should be in capital only. You can have any number of words. Every letter should be in capital case. And if you have multiple words, they need to be separated with underscore only. Don't use space or any other thing. Because you remember, right? In naming a identifier, we should not use any other characters apart from dollar and underscore, right? So if you want to separate these two words, then you can separate them using this underscore. Okay, so every word will be separated in constants using underscore. Okay, so let's take one more example. Let's say min value. So if you see this one also, min, all letters are in capital, and even value is another word which is separated using underscore, and every letter is in capital case only. All right. So this is how we need to name constants. Now let's talk about packages. So next one is packages. So what is how to name packages? So all letters should be in lowercase only. Okay. So we may contain multiple words, but still everything should be in what? Should be in capital, in lowercase only. Okay. So package name, all letters should be written in lowercase. So it may contain multiple words, but still you need to write every word in lowercase only. Understood, right? Package name, package name contains all letters in lowercase. Okay. So we may or may not or we may not contain multiple words. It may or may not contain multiple words. Okay. So let's take an example. I want to give a name to a package. So what is the name I have wanted to give? I want to give a name package called Java. So if you see, all letters are in lowercase only. Let's take one more. So I want another package called as Lang. So all these are predefined packages which are coming from Java libraries. So we have Lang package, we have Java, we have IO, okay, we have AWT. If you see all these words, all letters are in what? All letters are in lowercase only. Let's take our own package. Let's say my package. If you see, there are two words. Till my it is one word, package is another word. Now, if you see this word, if you look at this package name, none of the letters between the words are also in uppercase. Everything is written in what? In lowercase only. Okay. So name of the package can contain any number of words. Every letter should be in lowercase only. Understood? So with this, we are done with coding conventions. So we have still so many other things. Okay, we will discuss whenever the time comes, whenever the topic comes, and whenever we can discuss more about it, we'll discuss about it. For now, these are the things which you should be remembering because these are something which we'll be keep on using. That's the reason. Try to understand these coding conventions and try to follow these coding conventions whenever you are naming any of these components like class, interface, method, variables, constants, and packages. Okay, follow these coding conventions and give a name for it. Okay, so now next move on to topic called as operators. Okay, so the next topic that we need to understand is operators. Okay, so what are operators? So an operator is a symbol. What is an operator? Operator is a symbol that is used to perform some operation on values. Okay, so I have some values, I have some data. On top of that data, I want to perform an operation. Okay, so you need to use a symbol to perform that operation. Got it? So that is called as operators. What are operators? Operators are symbols which are used for the purpose of performing some operation on values. Okay, so if we have to take an example, there are two values. I have value as 10 and 20. I wanted to perform an operation here. I want to perform an addition operation on these two values. Now, what is the operator that I have to use in performing this operation is nothing but I have to use a symbol called as plus. So here plus is what? Plus is called as an operator. So plus is the operator which is helping us to perform an operation on two values 10 and 20. On top of this, I'm able to do an operation called as plus. I'm using a symbol called as plus. Okay. So addition, I'm using a symbol called as plus. So the symbol is called as an operator. Understood, right? What is an operator? An operator is a symbol that is used to perform some operation on any values. Okay, so now we are using some values, right? So we are using a symbol, and for that symbol, using that symbol, we are providing some values and we are trying to perform some operation, right? So the values that we pass to the operator, we call them as operands. Instead of saying them as values, we can call them as what? Operands. Okay, so the data on which we perform operations is called as operands. Instead of calling them as values or data or literals, call them as operands. Okay, so an example, I have a value A here. Okay, and I have B here. So I want to perform on this A. A is holding a value, let's say 10. B is holding a value, let's say 20. These are variables. Let's say these are variable names. So now on top of these variables, I want to perform an operation. What is operation? Addition operation. For which what I have to use? I have to use the symbol called as plus. Okay. Now here, this plus is there, right? We call this as what? Operator. And on top of which data I am performing the operation? They are called as operands. These two are called as what? Operands. Okay. So the data on which we perform operations is called as operands. Okay. So in Java, we perform operations at 3 levels. Okay. So we have 3 levels of operations that we can perform in Java. So what are those? So we have unary operators. Okay. So we have unary operators, we have binary operators, and we have ternary operators. Okay. We have unary, you have binary, and you have ternary operators. So we perform operations in at 3 levels. We perform operations at 3 levels. What are they? So unary operators, binary operators, and ternary operators. So what is unary operators? Let's try to understand that first. The first one is unary operators. So if any operator given with a single variable or single value or single expression, then it is called as unary operators. Okay. So unary operators takes only one operand to perform the operation. Okay. So if you have any value or variable or expression which is only a single value, and on top of that, if you're trying to perform operation, such operations are called as unary operations. Okay. What is it? If any operator given with single variable, it could be a variable. Okay. It could be a variable, or it could be a value, or it could be an expression. It could be an expression. What is an expression? We will see it. So then it is called what? The type of operation that we are performing on a single variable value expression, we call it as what? We call that as unary operation. Unary operation. So example. Okay, so we can say minus a, plus a, etc. So if you see here, I'm using only one value here. So we have one particular variable operator, right? So we call this as operators. So this operator is trying to perform operation using a single variable value or expression. So here it is a variable. So I have taken a, I can say it as a variable. So on top of a single variable or a single value, I'm trying to use an operator. So this, if an operator is able to do an operation using a single value, we call them as unary operation. We call it as an unary operation. Okay. So what is binary operators then? So the next one we have what? Binary operators. Binary operators. If any operator, what is an operator again? Operator is a symbol, as I said you previously. Operator is a symbol. So if any operator given with two variables or values or expression, then it is called as binary operator. Understood, right? If any operator is nothing but a symbol, okay, given with what? Given with two variables. Previously, how many? We have only one. For unary, we'll have only one. But when it comes to binary, we have what? We have two variables or values or expressions. Don't worry about this. I'll show you what is an expression, how to write an expression, all those things. Okay. So now we call it as what? Then it is called what? It is called binary operation. Binary operators or binary operation. Okay. So example, I have A, I have B. So I'm using plus here. So what is this plus? This plus is trying to perform an operation. The symbol is trying to perform operation on two variables or expressions or values. Now here variables. So this variable and this variable, there are two variables. On top of this, I'm trying to perform an operation. Then we can call it as what? We can call such type of operation as binary operation because it is trying to perform operation on two values. So A minus B, we can say A divided by B, etc. So all these are what all these operators are taking two variables and they are trying to perform operation on top of that. Such type of operations are called as binary operators. And let's take the third one. What is the third thing we have? Ternary operators. What is it? Ternary. We have ternary operators. When can I call a operator as a ternary operators? So we can call plus as a binary operator. Yes, we can call it because plus is able to take two values. Plus is able to take two values and it is able to perform operation. As it is able to take two values and it is trying to perform the operation, we call it as binary operator. In the similar way, when we can call an operator as a ternary operator, if it is taking three values and on top of it, if it is trying to perform an operation, we call it as ternary operator. Unary operators will take only a single value and they will try to perform the operation. So binary operators expects to pass two values to perform the binary operation. Now ternary operators takes three values to perform the operation. Understood, right? So if you are trying to take two values, multiple values, three values, and if you're trying to perform operation, and that operator is called as ternary operator. Okay. If any operator given with three values, okay, then it is called ternary operators, ternary operations. Call it as ternary operations. Now, based on this, so after talking about the levels, now let's talk about the different type of operations that we perform, and for that operations, what are the symbols that supports us in performing those operations? Okay, so generally we spoke about the rules, right? So we spoke about the levels. So basically, the number of values that we pass to a symbol or a operator, based on that, we came to know what is the type of operation that we are performing, unary operation, binary operation, or it is a ternary operation. Now, based on the basically the operations are classified into certain categories. What are they? In which the first one is arithmetical operations. What is it? We have something called as arithmetical operations. Arithmetical operators. So there are certain symbols, certain operators, which are provided using with which we will be able to perform arithmetic operations. Now, what are arithmetic operations? Addition, multiplication, division, subtraction. All these are called as what? Arithmetic operations, right? So to perform arithmetic operations, there are certain symbols. Generally, symbols are nothing but operators. There are certain operators that are provided using which we will be able to provide. We will be able to do what? Arithmetic operations. So, what is arithmetical operations? They are used for to perform. They are used to perform different mathematical operations. Okay, so in Java we have five types of arithmetical operators. How many? In Java we have 5 types of arithmetic operators. What are they? Give a minute. So examples. Let's see what are all the operators that support doing arithmetic operations. Okay, so what are they? We have plus. So with this, we can perform addition. What is that mathematical operation that we can perform? Addition. We have this symbol. So using which we can perform subtraction. And we have star. Okay, so using which we can perform multiplication. Okay, and we have division. This is for this symbol is used for performing division operation. Now we have one more. Sorry, we have one more operator called as modulus operator, percentage. This is called as modulus operator. Okay, so this is also used for the purpose of performing division only. So why do you have two symbols then? It's nothing but if you want quotient, if you want to perform a division and the result that you wanted to take is quotient, then we have to go for this operator. So this is going to give you what? Quotient. And this will give you remainder. Okay, you want to perform division and you want quotient as a result, use this one, divide symbol, divide operator. If you want to perform division and you want the result as a remainder, then go for modulus operator. Okay, so these are the operators, 5 types of arithmetic, 5 arithmetic operators that we have under arithmetic operators. Okay, so you can use them for performing what? For performing arithmetic operations. Now, there are certain rules that we need to follow, okay, in using this. Okay, so what are the rules that we need to follow in doing with using these operators? Let's see them. Okay, so arithmetic operators can be applied only for numerical data, but never on Boolean data types. Understood, right? So let's try to see some of the rules on top of which type of data that we can perform these operations. Can I perform operation using arithmetic operators? Can we perform any type of operation or it is limited? It's nothing but let's see this. As part of that, what is that? You can always use arithmetic operations to be performed on numerical data, but not on Boolean data types. You understood, right? So rule number 1, arithmetic operations, okay, operators can be applied on what? Applied only on numerical data. Numerical data types. So what are the numerical data types we have? Integer, short, byte, long, right? We have float, double. So all this falls under which category? Numerical categories. On top of the numerical data, only you can perform this arithmetic operations. Okay, but we never apply on Boolean data types. So on Boolean data type, you cannot use these data types. Okay, so example. So 10 plus 20. This is right because both are what? Numerical data. Now let's take true plus false. If I say this, it is going to be an error. It is going to be an exception. So you cannot do this. You can only perform arithmetic operations on numerical data, but not on Boolean data. So what is the second rule? What is the second rule? If any mathematical expression is evaluated, then the final result data type can be decided. Okay, so we have to decide it like how. So let's say we have taken two combinations. So I'm talking about expressions here. So mathematical expression, if it is evaluated to so some final result, and we have to decide the data type there. So based on the data type, we should be able to perform the operation. So which combination of expression, how it should be evaluated. So I have written some expression and that particular data types should be evaluating to some result. So which result, on top of which result we will be able to perform this operation now again. So let's talk about the combinations, which different combinations we can use and what should be the result that combination has to return us. So let's see that. If the combination is, okay, let me write this. If any mathematical expression, mathematical expressions is evaluated, then the final result data type can be decided. So how to decide it? So let's see. Let's see how it should be decided. So now let's take a combination. Combination of different expressions. Let's see some combination of different expressions. And what will be the final result that will be evaluated after that. So we'll see this too. And final result type. So let's say I have taken two byte and byte. If 2 bytes, on top of 2 bytes, if you're trying to perform an expression, then the final result will be always what? An integer. Okay. So if you take a byte, if you take a short, or if you take a char, even for this expression also, the final result will be what? Integer data type. Okay. For char, and if you take another char, for this also, the final result will be an integer type. So if I take int and int types, so for this also, the final result will be what? Integer only. Okay. If I take a byte, short, and int, for this also, it is going to be int. Now see this. For byte, for short, and for int, and also long. For this, it is going to be long. Okay, so if you take byte, short, int, long, and float, if you take this combination, the final result will be float always, because float is greater than any of this. Okay, so because float can also carry decimal points. That's the reason float, it will return the value in float. If I take an expression which is of byte type, which is of short type, okay, if it is of integer type, long, float, and double, at that time, the final result will be coming as double. Okay, the final result will come as double here. So remember this. Now, when you are combining some expressions, if the expressions are combined with these data types, so what is the final result that will come? Is nothing but, if you can see in this table, if you take 2 bytes and if you expect a final result that will be written in which type, means it is going to be an integer. If you take byte, short, and char, then the final result will be written as what? In the integer only. Char, it is going to be integer, int, it is going to be integer, byte, short, and int, it is going to be integer. But if you take a byte, short, integer, long, it is going to be long. And if you take float, float is going to be the return type. And if you take double, double will be the biggest type, right? So that's the reason it will be written in double. Understood? So you may not be able to understand that point completely, but we will see it in future classes. When we are using some expressions, we are writing some expressions. At that time, you will be able to understand. But right now, just try to remember this. If it is possible, try to remember this. Okay, or just keep it aside. So whenever if you're trying to do such an operations on so and so types, so look at the final result type, what you are going to get. Okay, based on that, you can decide what you can do with that. All right. So the next rule is, just a minute. Give me a minute, guys. So the third point. So mathematical operations always, they will get evaluated based on operator precedence. Okay. So if you are trying to use multiple operators in an expression, at that time, how that is going to be evaluated? So it is going to be evaluated based on operator precedence. Means in our for our operators, they have some precedence. Okay, if you have so and so symbol, in which has to be evaluated first. Okay, so that should be decided, and based on that, that expression has to be evaluated. So how this particular mathematical expression is always evaluated? Based on operator precedence, right? So what is the operator precedence rule that we have that will be known using a concept called as BODMAS rule? All of you know, right? BODMAS rule. So third rule is what? So mathematical expressions. Mathematical expressions is evaluated based on operator precedence. Operator precedence. Okay. Now, what is operator precedence? How we decide it? Based on BODMAS rule. Right? So first preference will be given in an expression. If you have these brackets, the first preference will be given to these brackets. In an expression, if you see brackets, whatever is there in the brackets, that will be evaluated first. Okay. And the second preference will be given for plus into all these things. So they will be given second preference. And thirdly, we have plus and minus. So this is how generally the precedence will be given. So first, which has to be executed, and later what has to be executed in an expression. So this is how it will be decided. So let's take some examples. If I say I have the first, I have int x is equal to 2, I said. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm writing one system dot out dot println. And what I'm trying to do is I'm saying I'm trying to print x, and after x, I'm trying to do an operation. So x into 10 plus 2. If this expression has to be evaluated, how it will be evaluated? So if you notice there, so there is some precedence order which is given. So if you can follow the precedent order, and if you're trying to evaluate this expression, then you will be able to find the final result. So if can anyone tell me? So if you see here, what is the precedence level for plus minus into and brackets? This is first, this is second, and this is third. Now, how this expression has to be evaluated? Because if you see this expression, it is using multiple operators. Here I have one operator. Here I have the second operator. I have two operators in this expression. Now in this, how it has to be evaluated? So what is there in x? In x we have 2. So 2 into 10, how much? 20. 20 plus 2, how much? 22. So here the result is going to be what? 22. Okay, if you just execute this in your program, you will be able to see the result as 22. Let's take one more example. Okay, so try to use that BODMAS rule. Now you people try to evaluate this expression and tell me the answer now. Okay, let's say I have a system.out.println. I'm using the same variable here, x. Okay, let's say x into, I'm saying 10 plus 2. So for this, can anyone tell me what will be the output? Use the BODMAS rule, and can anyone tell me what will be the output for this particular expression? So I'm using x, here x is nothing but a variable, and this is holding a value 2. This is holding a value 2. Yes, that's
24.
correct. Yes, that is correct. So it's going to give you 24. So here, out of this, which is getting executed first? Whatever is there in this brackets, this will get executed first. Okay, so first it will be 10 plus 2. So 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 into 2, 24. Okay, so the expressions will be evaluated based on BODMAS rule. So preferences. So first preference will be given to brackets, and second is going to be division, percentage, modulus, and multiplication. And then we have plus and minus. So you people may getting a doubt that let's say if the second, all the symbols are of second preference, and in which order it is going to execute? If every preference is having the same preference, if every operator is having the same preference, and it is going to execute in the left to right order. Okay, from left to right, it is going to execute. So there, it will not. If all the preferences having the same preference, all the operators are having the same preference, then there is no confusion. It will simply execute them. So only the preference value will be given when multiple operators of different preferences are given. Then it will get evaluated based on the operator's preference. So let me give you one more example. Let me say 2 minus x into 10 divided by 3. Can anyone tell me what is the value for this? Can you evaluate this particular expression? Can anyone tell me what is the output of this? So I have 2 minus x. Here x is a variable and x is holding a value 2. How this expression will be evaluated? So use the BODMAS rule here and tell me what will be the output for this. Just take a pen and paper or something. Just try to evaluate, execute it, and tell me what will be the output for this particular third example. Can anyone?
0, sir.
It will be 0. 2 minus x into 10 divided by 3. Is it going to be 0? Okay. Check this answer in your system. Okay. So take your laptop afterwards, check this answer and tell me how it is evaluated. So you will get some result, right? Based on that, can you decide in which way it got evaluated? Take this an assignment. Okay. So work on this. Just try to execute this particular statement in your mission. See the result. Okay. Based on the result, tell me how it got evaluated. Okay. How that got executed. Why the answer is that. In which way it is able to get that particular output. Explain me that tomorrow. Okay. Is it fine? Note on that expression. And I'll give one more also here. Also tell me answer for this one as well. So here also I'm taking a variable x is equal to 2 and integer variable x is equal to 2. And I'm trying to do what? I'm saying x, sorry. I'm saying x and I'm saying into 10 divided by 3 and I'm saying minus 2. For this also tell me what is the output. Okay. So for example 3 and example 4. So what is the output that I'm going to get and tell me how it got evaluated. In which way it got evaluated. First what is got evaluated and after that what is got evaluated. Okay, just try to explain me. If you understood the BODMAS rule and if you are able to understand the preference, so in which way the preference order is, based on that you will be able to tell me this. Okay, so complete this tomorrow and explain me these two. Take this assignment and do it that. So how much time is left for us? Okay, so the time is up, right? So, okay. So just go through
Third
whatever we have.
solution minus 4.6.
What is the third solution?
Minus 4.6.
Okay, forget about the decimal because all these are integers, right? So there is a concept called as seal and floor. You know these things, seal and floor?
Huh.
Yeah. So always when you have decimal values, okay, so it is going to give you the before value. So what is the before? What is there before decimal? It will remove the decimal part and it will give you only the part which is
Minus
before
4.
the. It will be just minus 4. Yeah. What is the answer for 4?
4.
Example. And by the way, before going to the example 4, can you tell me in which way you are able to get that output? Why did you get minus 4?
Sir?
Why did you get minus 4? In which order this expression got evaluated?
2 minus 2
Hmm.
into 10 by 3. 2 into 10 means 20 by 3, na? 3
Right.
into 2. 3 into 2, 6. 6 minus 20 by 3.
Okay.
We will get minus 4.6 answer.
So rest of you are able to understand that? The answer is correct actually. So you understood the explanation why you got -4?
By cross
Okay.
multiply, we will get that solution.
Okay, let them understand. So you people try to understand this. If you're still not able to understand this, I'll explain this tomorrow, how you are able to get this. Okay. So just go through a concept called as BODMAS. Okay. So you know, all of you know BODMAS rules, right? So just go to that concept and based on that, apply this and tell me in which way it got executed. Okay. If you're still not able to understand that, if you're still not able to answer the things, then I'll try to explain you again. Don't worry about it. Okay, chalo. Let's end this class with this topic today. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see the rest of the operations. Okay, so we have still assignment operators and we have other operations as well, comparison operators, relational operators. So the operations are basically classified based on the operations that we perform on them. So till now we have covered arithmetic operations, right? And their rules. Okay, in tomorrow's class, we'll cover the other operations that we can perform using other symbols, nothing but other operators. Okay, so with that, we'll be able to complete operators. All right, and we can move on to the next topic. Okay, guys, you have any questions on these things?